This movie is nonsense, but in the best way.
There has been such a clamor for us to review a Minecraft movie. You care what two middle-aged people think about a Minecraft movie. I'm certain of it. I may have had a teensy bit more knowledge than you, Alonso, just by sheer osmosis because of my child.
I imagine you would, because I knew zero going in.
Okay, well then you get to describe it. Come subscribe if you have not already, because we do it all. Serious art house movies, big giant surprise blockbusters. Like, I don't think anybody looked at this trailer and thought this is going to be a phenomenon. But it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, they knew it was going to do well, but I don't think they had any idea just how well exactly, what a sort of zeitgeist definer it was going to become.
Chicken jockey.
This is based on the video game that I've never played, and it's the story of Henry and Natalie. They've moved to a new small town where Natalie has gotten a job doing social media for the local potato chip factory. And Henry is super bright, and that makes it hard for him to make friends at school. He winds up becoming chummy with Garrett, who owns the local failing video game store. Garrett is a one-time arcade champion who is sort of wallowing in his former glory and quite a jerk. They wind up finding the elements to cross over into another dimension that has already been traversed by a guy named Steve. And once they get there, they get wrapped up in a plot to save that dimension from some terrible pig people that want to steal all the gold and plunge things into darkness. Also along for the ride is besides Natalie, Dawn, a local realtor and petting zoo owner, played by the great Danielle Brooks from the Color Purple musical. Yeah, this movie is nonsense, but in the best way, because it knows it's nonsense, but it is nonetheless doing the work of, like, I suppose if you played the game, there's like Easter eggs around every corner. But I understood what was happening. They established what this world is and what the rules are and how it works and what the stakes are. And I laughed a lot. I had a very good time at this movie. And I'm not a fan of Jared Hess, the director. I'm still mad about Gentlemen Broncos. So I did not go. I went into this with zero expectations. And I giggled from start to finish.
There's a lot of Napoleon Dynamite in this movie, though.
Which I've still never seen.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a lot. So, like, okay. I think the whole ethos of the Jason Momoa character, that he's like stuck in the 80s and he thinks he's better than he is, but it's all like a front, like all of the posturing and the arrogance is all a front. Yeah, it's very much like of that whole like kitschy retro Napoleon Dynamite vibe. The fact that tater tots matter here is a callback to Napoleon Dynamite, and just the small town Idaho kitsch of it all is very much in that same vein. And then you have, Jack Black, of course, who starred in Nacho Libre,
right,
for Jared Hess. This movie is great when it's not actually about Minecraft. When it's like Jennifer Coolidge is the vice principal of the school, and her whole, whenever it went back to her whole subplot, it was just delightful. I laughed my ass off. And Jack Black is Jack Blacking the hell out of this. Like, it is peak manic, wild-eyed, committed. Like, it's what you want when you cast Jack Black to play Steve. Steve is the main guy in Minecraft. And so it's the fact that, they make fun of how he has a whole bunch of the same turquoise shirt, that's his little outfit. So I laughed a lot at like the weird manic energy of this movie when it was about human beings. And then once they enter the Minecraft realm with the orb and all that, it becomes way less interesting. Again, I guess that is for people who care about Minecraft and the whole like chicken jockey phenomenon. Do you know about this?
Yes, I've heard about this. I saw it. Dave and I went at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. So there was nobody was TikToking in the theater. It was like us and 3 other people. And the chicken jockey was met with relative relative silence, so that was not a thing. But I'll tell you,
yell chicken jockey when it came
up? I did not. I know how to behave in a theater. These folks have misused Jennifer Coolidge before. I don't know if you ever saw Austin Land, but that's one of the rare times that she's not funny or good in a movie. But here, yes, they totally nail what she should be doing and how. I mean, yeah, obviously the real life stuff is more interesting, but I didn't cease caring because it was like they sort of set up, this is the world of the movie, here's what we're going to do. And even once they're in the Minecraft world, like they're all still sort of behaving the way they've been behaving. So like, Henry is inventive and Dawn is kind of open to things and sort of figuring stuff out, and Garrett is still an a-hole, and Steve is that sort of Jack Black intensity. It's funny, on Deck the Hallmark we just watched rather, because we'd all missed it, Dear Santa, the Farrelly Brothers movie where a kid writes a letter to Santa but misspells it, and it winds up going to Satan, who's played by Jack Black. And he's kind of irritating in that one. And it's like the Jack Black energy, like anybody else, you have to sort of focus it right, or else it can be too much. And this movie knows how to use him and knows how to pull back on him as well, I think.
Yeah, well, he's definitely having a good time here. And I enjoyed him and Jason Momoa together are both like intense and committed in ways that are different from each other, but gel really well. Like you almost think they're going to kiss at times. Like
it's a fun bromance for sure.
Yeah, so that's fun. So like I enjoyed that, and like all the 80s of it is for us. Like Skid Row, I Remember You is for us, which I thought was kind of an inspired song choice, and it would have come out in 1989, which is like when the Jason Momoa character has peaked.
At his peak. Yeah.
Right. He's still dressing like that. The hair's like that. He's stuck in this time warp of the, his heightened moment in time there. But like Danielle Brooks, like, what are we doing with her here? It's a total waste of everything she can do. She's along for the ride. She's very poorly defined compared to everybody else. So that was like,
I felt like she was having a good time with it. And I just sort of enjoyed seeing her on screen. And if nothing else, I'm thinking like, people didn't go see The Color Purple, but they're seeing this. And so like, good, let this open some doors for her because she's amazing. Obviously if you are not Jack Black or Jason Momoa, this movie only has so much for you to do. If anything, I think Emma Myers as Natalie gets the shortest shrift here in terms of having a personality and really kind of contributing to the goings on. Maybe it was just my basement level expectations for a video game adaptation from Jared Hess, but I was tickled throughout.
Oh, I took Nick and he was able to explain to me like, okay, this is in the game and this is not, and this is a little bit different. Like the stuff with the Enderman, like that's a little bit different. But all the game stuff to me felt like just, again, it's hard to make a movie version of a video game, right? Where it's not just like, this is a thing that happens and then this, and then you're leveling up to different stuff. So it's hard to make that fun. But I do think they're also trying to make this a lot like Barbie, which is funny because we are watching the studio right now, and the studio is all about trying to find that next Barbie, and it's the Kool-Aid movie.
Right.
And it's funny because this is a Warner Brothers movie, which is a lot where they shoot the studio. So this is sort of like, I mean, an example of
and the studio that released Barbie.
And how it's awful that they're right. Like let's make a Minecraft movie. Let's make it all like shot and lit like you're inside a video game. Like it's too bright intentionally and everything is too colorful intentionally. And so it's a lot like Barbie in that way. And like Mark Mothersbaugh does the score, and like Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt do the songs. Like everybody here is way more qualified for this content than it deserves. And there are 5 screenwriters, which is why it's a mess in the middle. Anyway.
Well, yeah, that definitely during the credits I was like, ugh, but I mean, it's like if you're going to make a Minecraft movie, and I'm not saying that you should, but if that's the bit that you've decided to commit to, I think this movie does it about as well as one could. And yeah, I definitely walked in thinking, oh fuck, it's going to be Kool-Aid the movie. But and again, I am divorced from the source material, so I don't bring any of that in. But I feel like so many kind of modern 4-quadrant adventure movies are structured like video games anyway. Like it's so often go to the place and get the thing that the little stops along the way of like, here's how we create weapons, and here's the rules of building the blocks of the blah 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 blah. You know, like that's almost any Marvel movie will do that, you know, or just kind of have to feel the need to do that. And I kind of feel like this one does all of it with a lightness and a sense of humor that it never gets bogged down in the mechanics of, okay, here's the part where you have to jump over the river and do the blah, 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 blah. You know, it's all nonsense and the movie knows it. And I think that goes a long way in making it go down smooth, you know?
What's your number then?
I would say like a 7.4. Like
wow.
it is not Barbie level of like, you know, transcendent franchise filmmaking, but for an IP that could have yielded something far worse, and for the fact that it's just consistently goofy and entertaining, like I had a good time.
I will say 6. I laughed a lot too, I will admit. So, all right, a Minecraft movie. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's in theaters. Have you seen it? Let us know.